are some tags in HTML5 and how to implement them. So let's specifically concentrate more on HTML5. We finished with most of the HTML basics you need to know to start writing HTML. But let's add more tags from HTML5 to our code. Okay, so here we're gonna create color input from HTML5. So we say color input. How to add color input type. So in here, I'm gonna clear what we have in here. Then what I'll do is let me start with the input. So probably I'll start with the label. So the label, and for the label we're gonna have the 4, and for the 4 we'll be having my color. So this is gonna be a label for select color. Okay, so then we'll have the input. So here with the input, we're gonna have the type, and this type will be color. So this is only in HTML5 which you can do this. So type, and then the type is what? Color here. Okay, and then we're gonna have a default value for this color. So for the value, we'll have a default color. It can be any color. So as I showed you, you can use color picker for this one. So you can easily use any color. So let's say we wanna, let's say we wanna try with the color picker. So let's go to Google first, then let me minimize this. Then let's say we type color picker. Yeah, so for color picker we can, let me click the color picker itself, then we pick any hash decimal. Let's say any color here should be fine. Then I pick this one. What's going on? Let me pick another color. I think I didn't grab that one, so then I go copy it to clipboard, then I paste it in here. So it comes with the hashtag. All right, so let's see, after we have the default color, we need to add an ID in here, and this ID will be referenced in JavaScript real quick. So let's add my color, and with that we're gonna have let me see, we need to have open so that we see what we are currently doing now. Let me save this. I think this wasn't saved. So exactly what we are doing. So this is the color picker we have here. So this is really great. So we can use this tag in HTML5 where we can include a lot of different tags which wasn't in the normal HTML we used to have. So this is one of them, but we can try and then add a button to it, and then we can get the color on the click of a button. So let's try that. Let's add more function to this. So let's say we have a button here, and with the button we're gonna have the type, and type will be button here. Then we'll be having some on click here, but first let me say get value of the color. We get value of the color, and then I'll be having an on click, but on click let us add some mini script function here, that is a JavaScript function here, which will help us get the value of the color. Okay, so let's say we have a function, then the function name is get value. So have value here, get value, and then we'll close this one. Okay, so you don't need to really add this, but I'm just adding some kind of function to this, and see how you can also use JavaScript to manipulate HTML5. So let's have document dot get element. So get element by ID, and then the ID is actually my color, which is this one for the input field. So then ID by, then we'll get the value of the ID. So let's do value. Then after the value, let's add an alert color. So we're gonna have some alerts to alerts, and this is, and the alert, it's gonna throw the color on the screen. Okay, so here with the button we'll add on click to it. So on click, and with the on click what we'll do is to call the name of the function, which is this one, get value. Very easy. Okay, let me save this, then we run this. So we say get value, then it gives us what, the value of the color. So exactly what we have here when we check color picker. So now I have used HTML5 to basically design a mini color picker. So if we paste this one, okay, let me go again. If we pick a color, let's say we pick this color, and then I copy that. Yes, it's now copied. Then I paste that as the default. Okay, then I save it. Now I go back to HTML page, and then I reload. So let's get the color. So now we have this 873E 873E23. So we have the same color code that we've used a simple HTML5 tag to generate using the type color, which is here. So this is really great feature in the HTML5. Okay, now let's try to get a date in HTML5. So how to use the date type. So date type is very simple. We just change the type here to date, and the value will be how we want the date format to display. So we can say 2024, and then just the format we're looking here, so something like this. Then the ID needs to at least follow, so instead of my color, let's do my date. Okay, then the same thing, we don't change anything here, only the ID. So let's see what happens on the screen. Now we have the date, which we can change. Okay, then we change it to anything we want. Good. Then we can say get the date, and then the date is going to show on the screen. So this is how we use the date type in HTML5, and it's very easy to do. So what if we want to have a datetime? What we have to do is to simply change this to date and time. So date time, so we can have both date and time for this one instead of only date. So we can have the date at the side, and then we can have the time as well. So we can have probably 2:34 or 02:34, or inside the same the same input field. But we also have one other time type, which is the datetime-local. Datetime-local, and the datetime-local comes with this already inside. So you have the date, and then you have the time already inside the input form. So you change it, and then you change, as you see here, you change it, then you change, then you can change the time too by typing on the keyboard, and then you can see it here. So this is the local date time. So now we know how to implement date in HTML5, and then we know how to implement color in HTML5. Now let's get to know how to also add email enable input. So that means it should actually check if it's an email. So HTML5 have a tag like that. So what we'll do is, no, a type like that, not a tag. So we're gonna have JavaScript, and also we're gonna style our input field a little bit. So I demonstrate what we actually want to know here. So let's say my email, instead of my color or date, I put my email there. Then instead of select color here, I'm gonna do enter email. So enter email. Okay, so I have enter email there. Then I'm going to have type, instead of datetime-local, I'm gonna have the type to be email, so the input field can recognize emails. And then here I will have my ID equal to my email, and I need to clear this value here. We don't need it in this example. And we want to add require. Require means it's gonna force it for you to actually put in a rightful email before it's gonna work perfectly for how we want to use it. So here we have the get the value. Let's leave everything just like that. But in a script, what we'll do is to just call the ID here, which is my email, and then we're gonna have alert. Instead of color, we're gonna do email. Then the color here, we change it to email. So same, I just change of values. Then let's save this, and then let's see what we got on the screen. So okay, so here is enter email. We get this all right, but we want the colors around the input border to alert us when it is a right email or it is a wrong email. When it's in a wrong email, or if it is not actually an email, for example, the data is not actually an email, you should give us a color, a different color around the border. If we write a good email like at yahoo.com, then you should change the color so that it tells us that okay, that's a rightful email or something. So let's do that using a CSS, and I'm gonna have a star right on top of the script. So let me add star. Okay, and with the star, first we'll be targeting the name of the tag, which is input. So I'm gonna add input. If you don't know anything about CSS or you're a newbie, you want to learn more, check my CSS3 mastery course. You can scroll through the video and just search mastery course CSS3 and you're gonna get that. So then I'm gonna type this here. The type is email, and this type will have a value. Okay, so in the input with the value, no, not value, sorry, here should be valid. So this is gonna check whether it's valid or invalid. Okay, so if the email is valid, then it should show an outline color of green. So let's say we want to keep the outline at the 2 pixels, then we'll give it a solid green. So the color is green, and then the size of the border is 2 pixels, and then it's a solid border. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat this one for the invalid. So I'll just copy and then paste this, but here instead of valid, we're gonna change this to invalid. So then we'll give a color of red. So if the email is not valid, it's gonna show this color, and if it is valid, it's gonna show that color, so green. So let's try that on the page to see. Okay, great. So it's already showing the red color because we have no email in there and it's automatically invalid. Okay, what if we have a valid email? So for example, let's say tech@gmail.com. that is a valid one, so the border gives us the green color, then we can get it here. But what if this is not a valid email? Let me take the @ from it, then it changes the border to what? The red. So this is how you can play around the email, email tag or type for HTML5. Correct. So I'm gonna end this video and then continue the other tags in the other video. Peace.